through LinkedIn today. Thank you very much for joining me. My name is James Digby. I'm the MD of Bright, and we specialize in helping educational organizations to attract staff, parents, pupils, and customers. So today we're going to be looking at LinkedIn from the point of view of attracting staff and also parents and pupils. First of all, we are going to go through a little bit about LinkedIn and your own profile. We know that updating your profile is the most important part of using LinkedIn because it's the area that most kind of activity takes place. We will then talk a little bit about posting, what to post and when, and we'll talk a little bit about how to post in a clean way. And then finally, leading on from that posting section, we'll talk a little bit about the metrics and just how to measure success and improve what you're doing. Then the second part, we'll talk a little bit about your organization as a whole, why you should encourage people to use LinkedIn within your organization and how you can use LinkedIn for marketing, what are the risks and the rewards, and how you can use LinkedIn to recruit, things like how do LinkedIn jobs work, and what's the advantages to posting jobs, posting free posts, and sponsoring job posts on LinkedIn. You should have a option in the bottom right-hand corner to ask questions as we go along. Would somebody mind just testing that works? In the profile section, which is where we're going to start, the initial screen that you're faced with, hopefully you can see that being shared. Brilliant. Thank you very much for confirming. This is the main thing that people will view. We know from LinkedIn that the vast majority of activity is people viewing other people's profiles. And the top things that I'd recommend to start off with that you may well not know is you have the ability at the top right hand corner to use this pencil symbol to edit the URL that takes people to your LinkedIn profile. So for most people, this might be a combination of their name, numbers, and random characters. So you can change this to just be a little bit cleaner. It definitely does help if you're using it on your email signature, and it definitely does help when you're sharing your LinkedIn profile with people to have a clean URL to take people through to your LinkedIn profile. I would recommend that people within your organization, business, school, whatever it might be, share a similar banner. So if you were to create a banner that would be marketing out your organization in some way, or perhaps if you're a recruiter, maybe highlighting some of the things that you might be looking to recruit for, so some skills, some values, for example, then you can be sharing that out with your colleagues. I find that also has the additional benefit of encouraging people to actually update their profile. And it means those people that don't know where to start have something to begin their process of updating their profile. You have the ability using the pencil option here to update the text about you. So your headline here will be as default your job title and the place that you work. So feel free to kind of update that in any way you want, but I would recommend that you explain to people why you're on LinkedIn. What are you looking to get from LinkedIn? You're looking to connect with people that you can business develop? Or are you looking to connect with people to share marketing ideas? Or are you looking to business develop by networking with alumni for your school, for example? Whatever your reasons, that's a good place to kind of put it. That will also encourage people to connect with you as a profile. You do have the ability here to have some contact information. I would just be very cautious with this. Make sure that you have your work email address there. Make sure you don't have any personal contact details like your mobile number or your personal email address, because that is how you end up getting bombarded a little bit with kind of cold calls and emails from people. You can see in your analytics section, the section is completely private to you, but you can see in this section how many people have viewed your profile in the last 30 days, how many people have seen your posts in the last 7 days, and how often you are appearing in search appearances. The more you check this, the better idea you'll have of how your profile is performing, how much engagement you're getting, how much brand awareness you're getting on LinkedIn. So just keep an eye on that and see how it changes over time. Um, the about section should be a little bit about what you're looking to achieve through LinkedIn. So if you're a marketing manager, it might be that you want to connect with other marketing managers that might be in the sector, it might be outside of the sector. It might be that you want to connect with alumni or potential parents or potential customers. And if you're a recruiter or you're in HR, you might want to be listing in that about section some of the job roles that you recruit for, and think about which one of those roles might be suitable for LinkedIn. So things like IT technicians, IT managers, marketing managers, all of those types of roles are suitable. Academic, heads of department work well as well. But you're unlikely to be able to recruit for cleaning roles, catering roles on LinkedIn. So just pick the roles that are suitable for LinkedIn, and that will help keep this area clean and tidy. Your activity just gives you a breakdown of your recent posts. So you can go into here and you can see how much engagement they've got. We're going to come back to posts and growing your network shortly. So we'll come back to that. And then your profile, I would start by writing as much content as you need, ideally within 2 paragraphs for your current role. And then the further back you go, the less information that you put, because you want people to focus on what you're currently doing, so that they can see why you're on LinkedIn and they can see why they might want to connect with you. Does anybody have any questions about updating your LinkedIn profile? There is a tool. So if you're new to LinkedIn, completely new to LinkedIn, the tool will take you through setting up your profile. But you do have the ability at the top of the page to add profile sections and just work your way through. So that would be my recommendation. So once you've got your profile, you've updated it or you've created it from scratch, the next area would be to start to find some people to connect with. The best way to do that would be to connect initially with your colleagues. So once you've done that, say for example with Bright, you can go in, you can see everybody that works there. Once you've done that, I would start to be inviting people to connect with me. So the way that I do that is I use the search box at the top. So say I'm a HR manager within the school, I could search for HR managers. When I put in HR manager, it's worth noting this isn't a job title search. This is just a keyword search. So it's coming up with people, posts, jobs, courses, a wide range of things. So you just need to click see people results. And then this is showing everybody with HR manager as keywords within their profile on LinkedIn across the world. So quite a few people. So next step is just to filter it down to United Kingdom. Once you've done that, you want to pick the sector that you're in. So if you're a educational organization, you might want to use education. You might want to use education administration programs. But in this situation, if I'm pretending to be a HR manager for a school, I would want to use primary and secondary education. And then when I click show results, what it does is it shows me everybody in the United Kingdom that works within a school on LinkedIn with HR manager in their profile. So some of these people might have been a HR manager, and some of those people might just be using the word HR manager in their profile. And some of these people, as you can see, the top ones are people that are currently HR managers. If I just wanted to filter this down to be a bit cleaner, I could scroll right to the bottom and I could use title to put in HR manager, and it would remove everybody that doesn't have HR manager as their job title. So once I've done that, I've got 2 options when I connect to somebody. So say I want to connect with Christine here. I click the connect button. I can add a note or I can send without a note. The difference is that if I add a note, when that person accepts the connection request, they go into my messages. So it automatically starts a conversation with them. So for example, here, I can see that when I have originally connected with Michelle, it sent a message here, and I know that I can go in and I can start a conversation. Whereas if I just click send a connection request without a message, then it just goes into notifications. And in my experience, those notifications tend to get missed because, as you'll notice, over the course of even the last hour, there's a lot of notifications that come through. So for those people that you just want in your network, send them a connection request without a message. For those people that you immediately want to speak to, send them a message with the connection request. A good example would be if you're recruiting. If you're currently recruiting for an IT technician, you might want to send a message with the connection request. And if you're going to be at some point recruiting for an IT technician role, you might want to just send them so that it appears in your notifications. So once you've started to build your network, I'd recommend that you aim for 100 or so connections. You can start to grow your network by posting content. The best way to do that is to find content online. So you might be doing something. Let's find something that's suitable for LinkedIn. You might be doing something else and you might find some kind of content organically, or you might want to kind of start searching for things to post. So for example, it might be relevant for your job role to post about the UK economy. So you click start post and you take that URL and you paste it in. A lot of people leave that URL in, but you can delete that because it's now posted some content below that is nicely formatted, and I can share my thoughts with my network. So LinkedIn will give value to your content. The more you add in terms of your own thoughts to the beginning of the post, the better, really. Those people that just post links to things, they tend to see that content die out fairly quickly because most people aren't going to engage with that, and therefore LinkedIn gives it a lower value. If you're really stuck for content, look on the right-hand side of LinkedIn and you have LinkedIn news. So for example, you might be interested in recruitment, so you might want to click through to this one about talent. You can have a look and you can see what is the general topic, and then you can see who's engaging with it, what kinds of people are talking about it, what are people saying. This is quite a good way to quickly find and share content that's relevant. So you just click repost to your feed, and then it automatically populates in a particular format. And again, you can just fill in some text about why you're sharing it, and that will give you something to post. In general, you should be posting content in thirds just to give yourself a bit of diversity. So 1/3 being marketing and recruitment related. So it might be sharing of jobs, it might be sharing of an award that you've won as a school or a business. The other third could be around your own professional area. So it might be changes to HR. It might be changes to how people are using AI in marketing. And then the final third should be around your sector. So it could be a variety of things. It could be things that are going on within the sector. I would typically keep things fairly positive. I would avoid anything that's too political. But in general, sharing things that are happening in technology, for example, or the way that education is run, tends to get quite a good result. So once you start doing that, it's just worth mentioning that that content initially gets pushed out to your a small group of your connections. If they engage with that content, if they're clicking see more, if they're clicking the link, if they're liking it, if they're resharing it, then the value of that content increases and it gets shown to more people. So make sure that your content is suitable for your current audience. So that's people within your network. and B, that when it gets shown to people outside of your current network, it's still going to be of interest to people. For you as a organization, for you as an individual, rather than sharing job adverts, for example, that might not be suitable for your audience, you could be sharing content about what it's like to work for your business, what it's like to work for your school. You could be sharing content about things that you've achieved. You could be sharing content, going back to the example of an IT technician, you could be talking about cybersecurity, for example, and some of the things that your IT team have done to improve cybersecurity, because you'll be promoting yourself as an employer in that area without actually promoting out a job. And your call to action could be to click through to your careers page, or it could even be to click through to a job advert. So for your profile views, you also have the option to see post impressions. If I was to click here, I can see how in the last 7 days my impressions have changed. A lot of this is going to come down to the fact that I haven't been posting this week so far. What I can do is I can click through and I can have an idea of how my content fared. What I know from doing this for a number of years is that content which is very visual and that other people find easy to share, so for example, infographics and graphs, facts and figures that people might use for meetings or want for their own network, tends to do really well. What does really, really well that a lot of people don't use is if you click start a post and you click this more option, you have the ability to create some different options. I really like the create a poll option. So for this, you can ask a question and then you can put the options that people can select from and how long it's going to run for. The additional benefit of this is in 2 weeks' time, I'd also have a post that I could put out there with the survey results. But because people are answering questions, it tends to do really well. And I've had a good few thousand people engage with some of these posts in the past. So it's a really good way to increase your brand reach, your personal brand reach, but also to grow your connections, because the further reach your content has, the more people invite you to connect. In terms of your organizational page, I would recommend that you stick to the rule of thirds for content here. For marketing, I would be considering how the content that you share could be relevant to people outside your initial engaged network. And what I mean by that is you tend to see, for example, with schools and nurseries, that current parents are the ones that are engaged initially with your content. Current employees, for example, maybe alumni, maybe people that used to work for your organization. So what you need to be doing is you need to be sharing content that's not just going to be engaging for them, but also engaging for people that aren't already connected with you as an organization. So for a school marketer, for example, I would recommend that you consider how your content can add value to people. So in the pandemic, for example, content that did really poorly would just be updates and pictures of the school, because typically weren't children within the school. And content that did really well was things like free guides for juggling work and teaching your children. It was checklists, it was case studies, it was anything that could help people in their current situation. That content tends to get shared, tends to get liked, and people tend to engage with it to a greater level as well. A few of the things that you perhaps just need to be a little bit cautious of. So if we start off by looking at this from a recruitment point of view, your initial network for both you and your organization, so your company profile, is typically going to be people who are already have an invested interest in you as an organization. So if you're a school, for example, that's likely to be current parents. So we have had a number of clients where they've marketed their job out on LinkedIn. they get parents apply for roles that they're not suitable for, and it can lead to some awkward conversations. For independent schools, it often leads to people wanting discounts on school fees and applying for jobs they're not suitable for. So I'll just be very cautious about promoting your jobs on LinkedIn through the free options. We do run paid for LinkedIn campaigns, so if ever you want to talk about the benefit of that, do let me know. For marketing, I think that the risks are very similar to recruitment in that you're engaging and you're promoting out to an audience that is already engaged with you in some way, already connected with you in some way. So it's very easy to think, oh, we're getting a few hundred views, we're getting good engagement. When in reality, the people that are engaging with you, they're not adding anything because they already are aware of you. So you'll see this if you're promoting out maybe an achievement or an award for a pupil, or maybe a learner if you're an exam board, or if you're a digital education company, it might be a software update that you brought out. You'll typically see that the engagement levels are quite high initially because people are already engaged with your brand. However, you'll then see when you get outside of that initial bubble, your content tends to slowly die off in terms of engagement, and you never actually break through the wall of that bubble to reach new people. So always consider how you can be producing value for people for free using LinkedIn, using the posts that you put out there. You can pay for that. You can market your job vacancies, your employer brand, your profile, whatever it might be, through paid for options. But for the free options, I'd just be cautious because each and every step that you take, it directs a little bit the types of people that connect with you, the types of people that engage with you as a brand. In terms of reaching out to people on LinkedIn, I think that of all the sectors, education has maybe done this the least, but there's no harm why for free as a recruiter or a HR professional, you couldn't be contacting people by searching for them as we did for HR managers at the beginning, searching for people, asking them to connect and encouraging them to engage with you as an employer brand. And the way that you would do that as an administrator of a company profile would be at the top here, you have the ability to invite connections. So as you grow your network, you can also grow your company profile by inviting people to follow you as an organization. You literally search for them and invite them to follow you. Over time, you'll see that your profile improves and that of your company profile improves if you do this. And you do have 250 invites for your company profile each month. So if you don't have enough connections to be making the most of that, add some additional administrators into the profile and get them adding connections as well. For recruitment, the best thing that you can be doing is encouraging your colleagues that recruit, so it might be heads of department, to be growing their network. So IT manager needs to be adding IT technicians, your marketing director needs to be adding marketing professionals, whatever area they're in, they should be growing a network for it. And then when you post a job to your page, what you can do is you can let them know that you've posted, and that will help push it out to suitable people. You as a HR professional or a recruiter are going to struggle to be able to grow each of the different elements that you need as a network. So you're better off encouraging people in each of those areas to grow their network. So that when you share content, you can encourage them to share the content as well as their own profile, and it'll push it out to suitable people. So the metrics that I think would be useful, just to kind of recap, are all on your homepage. I tend to check the number of profile viewers that I have and the number of post impressions that I get. it tells me whether I'm posting the right thing, and it tells me the impact that posting that content's having. Typically, when I invest more time into thinking about the posts and things that I'm sharing and how I can add value, I see the number of impressions go up for posts, but you'll also see an increase in profile views. What you can do is you can click on any of those figures and you can see the trends. You can see how that's changing over the last 90 days, for example. But I also can see who is engaging with my my profile. This is really useful. I might want to contact some of these people, but it is also really useful because it gives me an idea of what I'm sharing is reaching the right people, and the right people are kind of engaging with me as a LinkedIn profile. So that was everything that I wanted to go through today. We've spent kind of half an hour kind of going through the details of it. But does anybody have any questions at all about LinkedIn, or any situations that I could potentially help with to improve their LinkedIn? Perfect. So we'll share a recording of this. Is premium worth considering? So premium allows you to connect with people outside of your initial network. So initially, you can connect with people in groups. You can connect with people who are within your company. So initially, to grow your profile, you can connect with those people, and then you can connect with their connections. So over time, you can grow your network. Premium allows you to connect people outside of your network. So my recommendation would be, when you get the free trial for premium initially, use it and invest a significant amount of time in those first 30 days in connecting with people. But then I wouldn't necessarily recommend paying for it after that, because at that point, hopefully you'll have 100, maybe 150 people, and you can connect with their connections, and you'll kind of have the ball rolling at that point. I do use some of the analytics features that's on LinkedIn, but the premium ones don't really give me that much. And the profile views and the post impressions are actually the ones that are most useful. Yes. For hopefully that answered your question, Phil. Just to summarize, I'd recommend the free trial, but probably not after that. In terms of being able to filter people in terms of location, so let's go back. Let's say we're actually recruiting for a HR manager. So I go back to the people results. I might not worry about where they're from in terms of industry. I have the ability here to only select locations that LinkedIn allow me to. So I can put in Cambridge. Sorry, it's just reloading. So I can put in Cambridge as a location, and I can put in Cambridgeshire. The first one that's coming up is Cambridge, England, for example. But I do have Greater Cambridge area, and I do have Cambridgeshire, St Ives, for example, and March are both in Cambridgeshire. So I can search for areas. I can't do a radius search, which can be quite frustrating. But I would recommend that you start quite wide. So if you're in London, for example, you might want to select Greater London, get an idea of the results, and then filter down. Annoyingly, you do have to kind of go through and you have to see what is available. So Angel in London, for example, might not be there. It is a bit frustrating to have to do that, but you can build up a list of areas. So if you're recruiting for one location, what I would do is I would go through and I would add all of the areas that I'm recruiting for. Let's go back to Cambridge. And I would keep going through until I can find all of the places local to me. And I would then screenshot that list. What it will allow me to do is just to quickly add those locations next time so that I'm not having to build it from scratch each time. But it is annoying to not be able to recruit people based on a radius. Does that answer your question? Definitely screenshot it. It's really annoying when you build a list and there's small villages in there, but not towns that you want. And then you have to go back, and next time you have to remember that. Does anybody else have any questions at all? Perfect. We'll share a recording of the session afterwards. Please feel free to come back to me if you have any questions. We provide recruitment marketing, employer branding, marketing and branding services for the education sector. So if you do need any help in those areas, even if it's just some free advice or some free guidance, do feel free to email us back and we'd be happy to book in a free consultation. But thank you all very much for attending today.